The Mexican-American War was a worthy endeavor, fueled by expansionist ideas and early ideas about U.S. exceptionalism. Lasting 1846 to 1848, it adequately fulfilled the idea of manifest destiny and ultimately paved the way for sectional disputes leading to the Civil War. Manifest destiny was the belief that America possessed the God-given right to expand coast to coast. This idea emerged around 1845 when a newspaper article concerning the annexation of Texas and Oregon used the actual term, manifest destiny. Consequently, it was used as political slogans and embraced by many Americans. Previously, Texas had been an independent nation under President Sam Houston. Houston sought to have Texas annexed, but it was too problematic to approach because of the issue of slavery. More specifically, it was feared that the annexation of Texas would unbalance the amount of free-to-slave states. However, it was later annexed in 1845 by John Tyler. The election of 1844 proved significant when James Polk defeated Henry Clay. While Polk was adamant about his commitment to manifest destiny and the annexation of Texas, Clay's indecisiveness on the issue ultimately allowed Polk to win. A contributing factor to the war in its entirety was the Slidell Mission. In 1845, Polk sent John Slidell to negotiate and establish the definitive border of Texas and Mexico. Mexico claimed the Nueces River was the border, while America argued the actual border was the Rio Grande. In fact, a young Abraham Lincoln even urged Congress to quickly determine a border. Slidell also asked for the purchase of New Mexico and California. It was an utter failure, and Mexico continued to reject American ownership of the disputed Texas territory. Polk proceeded to advance American troops into the disputed land past the Rio Grande. These troops, under General Zachary Taylor, were then attacked by Mexican cavalry. Taylor called in backups and was able to defeat the Mexicans. This essentially sparked the Mexican-American War, as the Americans' main goal was to insubordinately push to Mexico City. 2 years of mostly American domination went by, and Mexico began to lose incentive to keep fighting. Because Mexico was clearly outnumbered and overpowered, there became a decrease of interest in the land, and they began to look for a conclusion. America's driving force behind all this, manifest destiny, was certainly beginning to kick in as the war was nearing the end. However, more land acquired could only spark more sectional conflict in a nation that was slowly beginning to divide amongst itself. The Mexican government finally agreed to a treaty, and it was rushed to Washington and signed May 25, 1848. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo formally ended the war. This treaty ultimately increased America's size by 1/3. However, with all this new land, sectional disputes were inevitable. With the fulfillment of manifest destiny, many Americans now feared the issue of slavery. In fact, the Wilmot Proviso was vital to this developing issue. It proposed that any territory gained from the war would not allow slavery. Although it didn't pass, it was very significant because it illuminated the issue of slavery to the public. The Compromise of 1850 may have settled land boundaries, but the issue of free versus slave states was still prominent. Because it admitted California as a free state, this only added to the sectional fire consuming the nation. This compromise angered the South because they didn't want more free states than there already were. This tension carried over from these post-war results is also illustrated through John C. Calhoun, who strongly opposed the war due to nativist reasons.
We have never dreamt of incorporating into our union any but the Caucasian race, the free white race. The greatest misfortunes of Spanish America are to be traced to the fatal error of placing the colored races on an equality with the white race.
Ultimately, Polk's condescending attitude towards Mexico, along with a national feeling of manifest destiny, caused the Mexican-American War. Its results reinforced America's supreme expansionist ideas, but also showed the sectionalism beginning to arise. With much land being acquired, it was only the beginning of a bumpy, national road to unity and American individualism and prosperity.